Are you ready to talk about a great herbal tea for men? This is a wonderful men's health herbal tea. It supports the entire body system as well as the reproductive system. I'm Heidi Villegas with Healing Harvest Homestead, and I've got a lot of herbs here today, and we're going to go ahead and talk about these, and I'm going to explain to you how I created this formula, why I created this formula, and then we're going to actually make it. I'm going to talk through some of the medicinal benefits of the herbs that I have going on here and why they're included. So this is a tea blend that I created, oh my goodness, I would have to say way back in 2012 or something. It's really an old tea blend that I've had for a long time that men in my life have loved to use. And one among them is my husband. Good friends of ours use it. They really like it. I've updated the formula a few different times, and there are some core ingredients in here that you do need, and then there are some that you actually don't need, and I will share that with you as well. Let's go ahead and get started here. I'm just going to give you a rundown. First off, we're going to use Horny Goatweed. This is Epimedium, is the Latin name, and it's a wonderful plant. This is the first ingredient, and it's one of the higher level ingredients or higher quantity ingredients in this recipe. And I have it in here because it is supposed to help with the sex drive and libido and different abilities associated with that. Now, I have to tell you, there's no scientific evidence that this is the case or that it works. This is simply something that has some traditional anecdotal use, which most herbalists do not ignore, because if it's been working for a while, then it's been working. So there's an old story about how this plant's ability to support male health in that regard came about, and it happened because there was a goat herder out herding his goats in the mountains, and over time he noticed that the male goats, when they would eat this herb, they suddenly were very active. So that's the bottom line folk story of how this got started. So with that said, a lot of times as herbalists, we can watch different mammals and see how they interact with plants, and that guides humans too in terms of what we're going to do. So I should tell you, I'm using the parts method, and what I just did there was I put in 3 parts of the Epimedium, or the Horny Goatweed is the common name. I am using a 1/4 cup scoop as a part, and I'm doing that because we are going to be sharing this herbal tea with some people who have been asking for it forever. So there you go, there's the Horny Goatweed. All right, next up is Athero Root. Athero is an adaptogen. It is a really wonderful helper. It's Eleutherococcus senticosus, and it is wonderful for energy levels. So Eleuthero, as an adaptogen, what it does is it gets into the body and it helps to offset the stress response in terms of negative stress response. It supports the body in terms of the adrenal glands and offsetting extra cortisol that's in there that's harmful. So that's why we're using Eleuthero. It's rather energizing, and when used over time, it can help with stamina and energy. It's actually been clinically studied in Russia, and this was a while back. I should check on more recent resources because I learned this, like I said, long ago. But clinical studies have proven that it's helpful for male physical response and energy. So I'm going to go ahead and add 3 parts of Athero Root to the bowl. Next up, I have star anise. Now, I'm going to be honest, star anise is really wonderful as a digestive herb. It's excellent for gas and bloating and things like that, but it doesn't need to be in this herbal tea. The reason I have anise in here is for the flavor. My husband loves anise. It tastes really delicious, like licorice. So I am going to go ahead and put 3 scoops of anise. Now, I want to tell you this. This is star anise. And normally I would crush this, but I didn't do that. So what I'm going to end up doing is just pulverizing this tea a little bit better together when I blend it. But you can see there's a little, I don't know, can you see that? That's a little cute little star anise. And it's the seeds inside as well as the outside that are beneficial. But it just smells, it smells so good. I just really love it. Okay, next up is burdock root. Now, I just did a video on burdock, and we'll link to it above so that you can go over there and really get an in-depth look at burdock root and burdock as a general health aid and support. But I love burdock root for just about everything. I take it every day, and I think everybody should take it every day, especially if you are a person who is worried about your liver or who's struggling with different issues. And I'm not going to go into all of them here. You can go watch the other video. And besides that, we are on social media, and I have to be very careful about what I say here. Just gonna put that out there. And I'm gonna go ahead and add 3 parts of burdock root to the bowl. All right, next up is ashwagandha. Ashwagandha is another adaptogen. That means it's another one of those herbs that helps our body with stress. And specifically, while Athero helped with energy, ashwagandha ends up helping with relaxation and calm. So it also offsets the cortisol response in our body if it's overactive. But in addition to that, it helps with relaxation. One of the problems with male function is sometimes if there's a lot of anxiety going on, that's going to affect things. So ashwagandha is what we're going to be using. I'm going to put 2 parts of ashwagandha into the mix. Alrighty, next up, I have some saw palmetto here. I want to show you, these are the berries. I was in Florida last year, and I was driving. I don't get to Florida very often. We're actually going again this next month to visit my son who lives down there. So I'm really excited about that. But anyway, I was driving on the freeway after I got off the plane, and I'm looking out at the wild foliage, and I'm like, that's saw palmetto. And it was so exciting. I wanted to leap out of the vehicle and go look at it on the actual plant. But that is saw palmetto. This was wild harvested by a friend of ours. Beautiful berries, and this is what it looks like when you crush it up, which you need to do if you're going to use it in herbal teas, and you should also crush it if you're going to tincture it. You've probably heard of saw palmetto in terms of male function, but it's really excellent for supporting the health of the prostate gland and just keeping everything very healthy in that regard. Saw palmetto is probably the premier herb for this. Hence, we're using some saw palmetto. I'm going to go ahead and put 2 parts of my saw palmetto in there. And you can see I've got my mortar and pestle here. I'm going to scoop this out of the way. There's the saw palmetto. All right, next up, I have got 2 parts of nettle root. Nettle root is a wonderfully nutritive herb. It's got a ton of minerals. It's amazing. It's also a nice diuretic, and the root is supportive of the liver, just as burdock is. Whenever you're supporting your liver, you are allowing the detoxification process of your body to be improved, because that's the liver's main job in our body. It's to really help with detoxification. And if we're sluggish and we've got lots of yucks in us, then things aren't going to work really well down anywhere. Okay, next up, I want to just show you what I've got going on over here. So we have cinnamon chips. I have ginger root chips. I have got some clove buds. And I've got some cardamom seeds. And I've got cayenne. You can mix and match these as you want to. These are not necessary for the recipe, except for the fact that they are enhancers, they are stimulators. So what these do, these nice, beautiful, spicy herbs, is they enhance the actions and get the actions going of these more active herbs. And I love using these particular ones because they taste delicious. So some of these herbs in here don't taste all that great, but when you offset them with these lovely Indian spice type herbs, you're going to have a beautiful product. And these are actually all herbs that are found in chai. Chai has amazing health benefits. You can, I think I did a video on chai. I'll try to link to that above too, so you could take a look at it. But I'm going to go ahead and just be fairly liberal with these, but I don't want to offset or dilute too much what I've got going on in here, which are the medicinals. So what I'm going to do here is we're going to use 2 parts of cinnamon chips. Very delicious, very wonderful. Okay, now these spice herbs, on top of just having amazing health benefits, are all good for the digestive system too. So you're going to increase the digestive fire of the body, which is really nice. And then ginger root, we're going to do 2 parts of ginger root. I love making herbal teas anyway. It's been a long time since I've shared an herbal tea here with you, but I really love sharing herbal teas because they're so simple and easy, and really they're accessible to everybody. All right, next up is cardamom, and we're just gonna do a little cardamom. Cardamom is extremely powerful. So I'm just gonna do a half a part, get a few of the little black seeds in there. Cloves, we're gonna do a half a part of the clove butts too. Clove contains a compound called eugenol, and very good for the immune system as well. All right, and then finally, this is optional, but you can add some cayenne pepper. Cayenne pepper is excellent for the circulatory system, and it really can help increase vascular flow. All right, you can take that how you like it. But cayenne pepper is really helpful. And I am going to actually just do this by hand, so I can really just crush things up real well. But I'm adding approximately a scoop of this. And if you don't like cayenne or you don't like the heat of it, then just leave it out. It's not a big deal. Another one of these herbs that's also really excellent for the circulatory system is ginger. And so if you don't want the cayenne in there, just leave it out. So that's what it looks like right now. We're gonna go ahead and mix this all up. And it's really quite pretty. It actually looks masculine. Isn't that great? A masculine looking tea for men. All right, so this is my Manly Man 2.0 tea with a formula that's been around for a long time. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about how to prepare this tea. A couple things. When you want a really strong medicinal infusion and you're working mostly with roots, which we are, roots and seeds and berries in this herbal tea, you might want to do something called a decoction. A decoction is when you simmer the tea for about 20 to 30 minutes and then strain off the herbs, and then you drink the liquid. But a decoction helps to break down the constituents of these harder, different spices. And all of these were roots and seeds. The only one that wasn't was the horny goatweed, which was a leaf. So I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, if I was really going to make this a strong medicinal type tea or a therapeutic type tea, then I would steep it for a longer time or decoct it. Definitely a decoction would be stronger. If you just want a sipping tea for health, and believe me, this with these kinds of herbs in here, even if you steep it for a while, like 30 minutes, you're still going to get a really beautiful tea. So here I've got just a little pint jar. This is an infuser cup, and I really love these. We're going to start selling these in the shop. And this is a teaspoon I've got going on here. So you're just going to take, and I like my tea strong, so I'm going to take about 4 to 5 teaspoons full. When you're using an infuser cup, you want to fill it about halfway or so. You want enough movement that the plant matter can move around in the infuser. So that's important. And then I'm just going to break apart one of these star anise pods. I am going to actually put this back in my mortar and pestle and grind it up. And then what you're going to do is you're going to pour hot water through the infuser slowly, and about to as high as you want, really fill it up. And then you're going to take a mason jar lid and lay it on top. And that is going to keep the volatile oils inside. And you do want those. They're full of health benefits. The plants that have volatile oils is really all of these. Let's see. No, I guess not. Let's go through the ones that do have volatile oils. So the Horny Goatweed will have volatile oils. The star anise will have volatile oils. All of the spices will have volatile oils. And the saw palmetto might have a few, but volatile oils are very important. The cayenne, definitely. All of the aromatics, the ginger, the cardamom, and those volatile oils are essentially the essential oils of the plant. And yes, even though these are dried, they still have the volatile oils. Not all of them, but enough of them. So yeah, you want to keep your lid on. Let it steep for as long as you feel like you want it. You can take little sips of it as you like. I know my husband doesn't even use the infuser half the time. He just dumps his herbs straight into the jar, fills it up, lets it steep, and then he sips on it. And if he eats a few of the herbs, it's not a big deal. Oh, look, he's so excited about this tea. Finally, I got around to making it. He's bringing me hot water. He wants his tea, so thank you, honey. All right, here we go. So I'm going to take that lid off. I just showed you about the infuser, and I am just going to pour this nice and slowly over that infuser and let the water, you might want to get a koozie or something for your pint jar, because if you're working with just boiled water, it gets a little warm. There we are. And I'm just going to fill this so that the herbs are covered with the water. Beautiful. And put that lid on there. Let it steep. And when it's all done, you're going to have a beautiful pint of this Manly Man herbal tea. And I know you're going to love it. Ladies, if you want to drink this tea just because it's for men, doesn't mean you can't have some too. It's actually going to be really helpful for women as well. Obviously, we don't need the saw palmetto like men do, but all of these other herbs that are in here are going to benefit your body as well. So that's it. That's the Manly Man 2.0 herbal tea blend. It's been around for a long time. I used to sell this in my shop, and I've been getting requests to sell it again. I'm thinking about it, but right now we're not really making products. I'm more curating them. My shop is Grace Garden Apothecary, by the way, if you want to check it out. And I have free gifts for you. If you look at the first comment below, I've got my herbal remedy guide and cheat sheet, so please do sign up for that. It's a nice little guide for your home apothecary at the house. I've got other free gifts. If you look at the description below where it says show more, just click show more, and all the stuff will come up, all the links and everything like that. So that's it. If you guys have any questions, I would love it if you would ask. If you have a comment to make, please ask away. I'm here. My channel is still so small, I'm able to still answer comments. So I love hearing what you guys have to say. Please subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in the next video. I'm Heidi Villegas with Healing Harvest Homestead, and we just made an herbal Manly Man tea. Enjoy.